Hi, my name is James Kerr. This is my first video, and I thought a good topic to start on would be why I decided to get involved in estrangement therapy. Well, I've been a counselor for about 15 years, and from time to time I'd find people that were no longer talking to their parents or parents that had lost contact with their children, and I saw all the pain that it caused them. The more I thought about it and the more I witnessed people being sort of caught in what I would call like an estrangement purgatory. They're sitting there and they don't know where to go and they're stuck and they don't know how to get out. Well, I thought there's got to be a better way. You know, another thing about being a therapist is people say you should use your lived experience. So part of my lived experience is that I was estranged off and on from my father for much of my, adolescent and adult life. My story, I'm not sure how much I should go into it, but I'll just say my dad was troubled. He was an alcoholic. He left our family when I was about 6 years old. And he wasn't a good man. He was troubled. And while he stopped drinking when I was about 12 years old, he still didn't really have the skills to be a parent. So I went through much of my adolescence and adult life trying to build a relationship with him. And I would go through years of being estranged from him. Some of the things that he did in his past, I don't think I could forgive, at least at the time that I was estranged. And so I'd go routinely 4 or 5 years without speaking to him. He made it easy in a way too because he wasn't reaching out much to me. But it was one of those situations where after 5 years, I would call and we'd start up like we had spoken last week. A lot of my relationship with my father focused around the weather and sports. And so we could always talk about our sports teams. And we'd have a 5 to 10 minute call. And he'd say, "Thanks for calling. It's good to hear from you." And that would be that. Now, needless to say, I struggled with this mightily at times in my life. And I sought out counseling myself to learn how to let go of the father that I never had, the father that I wanted, the father that I thought I deserved. And through counseling and just personal work on my own, I came to peace with it. I knew that someday he would die, and I tried to ask myself the question, if he was to die tomorrow, would I be okay with that? Now, like I said, there'd be years that would go by that we wouldn't speak. And when we did speak, it would often be underwhelming. I think I figured out I'd never have the dad that I thought I wanted or I thought I deserved. And by this time, I was a man myself with kids. And so I learned to father myself. I was a father, and so I better get busy on learning how to be one. I share this story with you because, like I said, there's got to be a better way. The work that I do many people don't want to reconnect with their family members. For many of them, it's unsafe to do so. And yet, they feel an immense amount of pain. There's a phrase in estrangement therapy called ambiguous grief or ambiguous loss. And, people say that sometimes being estranged from a family member is worse than death. Because at least in death, they're never going to come back. It's a final state. With estrangement, I see clients, like I said, in the same pain that they were in 5, 10, 15 years ago. Like a piece of them is missing. And that's understandable for a parent to not talk with a son or daughter, or for a child to not have any contact with their family. It's a piece that is missing. That as much as we want to fill with chosen family or other activities and move on, there'll always be that hole. So I got into estrangement therapy because I found that I could make peace with who my father was and who my father wasn't and who he would never become. And I found that others had troubles doing this. And so I spent the last 5 years researching estrangement, researching the different estrangement therapy research and methods and systems. And I've started to specialize in helping people move on, rebuild, reconnect, and overall just accept and love themselves more. I think that's possible for every person. The last thing that I'll say is estrangement can be such a burden, it can be such a shame that we don't want to share with other people on the street, in the grocery store. How's your daughter doing? Oh, she's not talking to me. So we say she's doing fine, she's doing great. People don't want to know. People don't want to engage in that type of conversation in the grocery store. And so, in a therapeutic setting, people are able to unburden themselves, and we can make sense of the path that has led us to this point. And we can walk with less pain, no matter if we decide to reach out one last time, whether we decide to walk away forever. We can do so knowing we've done our best and that we need to just let the rest go for now. A lot can be determined by the other party. A lot can be determined by months, years, and decades of our own growth and our own exploration and our own healing. So my job, as I see it, is to help identify what stage of that journey you're at. And non-judgmentally tell you where the path might lead, should you choose to go this direction, or this direction. So I hope this video resonated with you. And if it did, feel free to like, Then leave a comment, and you can find me at estrangedfamilytherapy.com. Thanks again. My name is James.